glad you're out there. Welcome to my world, where it's naturally supernatural. My guest had a sad childhood. He was molested. And he had, as a child, an encounter with a young man. He literally, and I mean this, literally was hugged by Jesus. And all of that hurt, all of that rejection, all of that wounding instantly left. Now, when he speaks, others get hugged by Jesus. But the hug did more than get rid of the bad. It deposited some good. He operates in creative miracles today. He had the most verified creative miracle I have ever investigated. Do you want to find out about it? Me too.
Is there a supernatural dimension? A world beyond the one we know? Can we tap into ancient secrets of the supernatural? Can our dreams contain messages from heaven? Is God ready to bring a tsunami wave of healing onto planet Earth today? Sid Roth has spent over 40 years researching the strange world of the supernatural. Join Sid for this edition of It's Supernatural.
Bruce, I know your background. You were molested as a child. You were headed towards disaster. And you weren't a church goer. You went to a Sunday school for the first and only time of your life with your grandparents, and you were told about the love that Jesus has for you. And then, shortly thereafter, you were in bed weeping. Why were you weeping?
I was particularly bad night. I was feeling shame, guilt, fear, just all those emotions balled up, guilt, all the stuff that's I was feeling last week.
And when you're about ready to hear what I'm going to ask you next, many people get supernaturally healed, even as they hear what actually happened to Bruce. What happened?
Well, when I was in that Sunday school, the Sunday school teacher told the story about Jesus hugging the children. And so now you fast forward several months to this night, and as I'm laying there feeling this hurt, this guilt, this pain, the fear that came along with it, that story came back in my mind of what he had said. And I knew there was nobody that was going to give me any affection, attention, and love. So I just simply said, doubting Thomas' prayer, and said, Jesus, if you're real, I want you to come in and hug me like you did those kids in this world. And immediately, I was picked up off the bed, pulled into a chest, and I got a full, like a real hug, but it was so much more so than just a physical hug. It was like being words, I had a hard time coming up with the words to describe it, but it was like being dipped in liquid love from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet, and all the guilt and the shame, the fear, all the bad feelings just began to just wash off. And I woke up the next morning, I fell asleep like that, and I woke up the next morning, and here's five little theology for you. I said, there is something to this Jesus thing.
Now, November 2006, the devil tried to kill you. In fact, he succeeded. Bruce died. What happened to you, Bruce?
Particular day, I was working underneath a large Peterbilt logging truck, as big as any semi-truck you've ever find. The other mechanic I was working with who worked for this logging company had removed one of the front wheels, and he had jacked it up, but unfortunately not using any safety equipment, no jack stands or blocking. I knew it, and that was my own fault. I still went underneath anyway. I was underneath the truck. I was laying underneath the front axle. That's the lowest part of the truck on these big trucks. 10 to 12,000 pounds of weight just on that front axle. And that jack that's over here, if I'm laying underneath it, I said to him, go get inside the truck and shut the engine off. When he did, the truck shifted just enough. The jack slipped out, and that axle, this 10 to 12,000 pounds weight, came down like a blunt guillotine and crushed my body in half. On impact, blood came out as it fell through me. And I just called out and said, Lord Jesus, help me. I remember saying it twice in case he didn't hear me the first time. And I looked down, and there was about 1 inch of space between the bottom of the axle and the cement. So I knew my body was 1 inch thick here, and there was about 2 inches of space between the bottom.
1 inch?
Yeah. In fact, I was thinner than my spine.
What happened to your organs?
Your spleen, pancreas, intestines, all crushed. Thinner than my spine because L4, L5 vertebrae were broken. 5 places, major arteries were severed. I had a flat spot. I looked like something out of a cartoon. In fact, when I looked at myself, that's what I thought. Something out of a cartoon. I'm flat. And as I'm bleeding out and feeling going into shock, obviously feeling weak, I'm begging him to get me up from the truck. He ended up, the guy I was working with ended up jacking the truck up off me. When he jacked the truck up off me, it was at that point that I actually bled out because the truck was holding everything together. It's a volunteer fire department area, so when he dialed 911, guys' pagers are going off. And the first guy gets there, and the second guy gets there, and they were asking me questions and talking just a little bit. I was mumbling, and it was at that point my heart stopped. And I remember, literally, I heard my heart stop. And it was because I bled out. When it happened, when my heart quit beating, my spirit left my body. I went up and ripped the garage, and then I watched from above the whole entire thing playing out. And let me say this: when I was in the roof, I felt amazing. There was absolutely no fear, no pain. I felt the most incredible peace I've ever experienced in my entire life. I just walked from above, and on each side of my body were 2 humongous angels, about 8 feet tall. I gauged them off of the guy I was working with. He was about 6 feet tall. Their head stuck up a couple feet taller than his head. Big, broad shoulders, white shining robes, like the Bible talks about, emanating light. And they had their hands in the middle where I was crushed flat. They were just ministering to my body. I'm just watching them from above. One of the last 2 people that came to the scene of the accident was a 2-month-old baby Christian named Shannon. She came in between the angels. She's feeling for a pulse. She asked, I'm watching it all from above. She says, what's his name? They say Bruce Vanetta.
By the way, the 2 months means she's been a believer for 2 months. She wasn't 2 months.
Right. Right. So she's feeling, and she said, what is his name? And they said, Bruce Vanetta. She begins to pat me in the face and say, Bruce Vanetta, open your eyes. Come on, open your eyes. And she gets louder and louder. I watched as everybody in the place turned and looked at her and gave her the crazy lady look. Like, what are you doing, right? There's no CPR. There's no defibrillator. She just slapped me in the face saying, open your eyes. And as she did, my spirit came back out of sitting into my body. And the first thing that happened when I came back in, my heart started with this incredible pain thing. Like I felt like a truck had fallen on me, right? And I'm crushed in half, and I was like, no, I don't want this. As soon as I made that decision, my heart stopped again. My spirit left my body. A tunnel opened up going out of the roof of that garage.